all at my house.
She let you in her house? And Portia. Oh my gosh, she let Portia in her house?
Yeah, I did. You can address me. I know that's kind of difficult
I'm so proud of you.
sometimes.
It's not difficult.
It seems
It's
like
not
it is.
difficult.
No, you don't have to be passive aggressive.
I'm not passive.
You're a little passive.
I'm aggressive.
I haven't seen you ever aggressive.
Don't play with me, Britt. Don't play with me.
have that
Don't play with
conversation
me.
later.
Really?
You guys
That's
can
what
have
Okay,
that
you're the big
conversation
bad wolf.
later.
I'm the mighty wolf.
No, you're not. It's a persona. You're really insecure.
Insecure?
Yeah.
I'm insecure?
See,
But you want to use my team.
The team that you begged for me to work with because you always need a sidekick, baby. Long story short, Kelly was feeling insecure because she felt like she was second in Nashville when it was her entire idea to share a glam squad. She was like, hey, I got
Kelly don't
makeup
wanna do nothing.
artist.
You trying to take
I have
Kelly's whole
a
team, baby.
stylist.
This is better than the Wimbledon Championship.
Let me tell you something, ho.
Well,
You better talk to your motherfucking roommate. You better talk to your pill
Girl,
popping
you're so
roommate.
cute.
Match point. Not pill popping roommate.
Well, this is getting juicy.
Like, what kind of pills?
Okay, this just took a turn. I did not see this coming.
Well, the pill she offered me was just a little Advil PM. I didn't get the Propofol Michael Jackson special.
Oh, Brett. Just when you were starting to grow on me, just a smidget, you turn around and pull some crap like this. You went straight to hell, girl. Girl, let's talk about it. Anyway, welcome back to my channel where we discuss all things Real Housewives. And today, I'm here to discuss the Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 16, Episode 16. Before we get into it, if you're new here, please do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, like the video, and please feel free to leave a comment. This week's episode started off at Shamia. She's at the doctor's office. She's with both of her daughters, and she lets us know that since she's come home from Grenada, Shiloh is much better. She's feeling better. She didn't really talk about what happened with the nurse. I want to know, like, did you fire her? Is she still there? Did you check her? What happened with that situation? But anyway, she didn't really talk about that. But congratulations. Thank you for Shiloh being better. Anyway, so Shamia, however, found out upon coming back from Grenada, she has been diagnosed with strep throat. So she's really worried about that now because she doesn't want to pass it on to Shia, because Shia is a really high-risk child when it comes to health, and just a little cold could trigger a lot of other things. So she doesn't want to give it to Shia. So they're at the doctor. And it's Shiloh she doesn't want to give it to. Shiloh is the younger one, and Shia is the older one. So Shiloh is there to get a shot. The doctor gives her a shot, and then she runs some tests, I guess, and she lets Shamia know that Shiloh is negative for strep throat. So she's excited about that. Meanwhile, Gerald is actually on a FaceTime throughout this doctor's visit. So I like the fact that when one isn't there, they're on FaceTime. That's real cute. But then Shamia, she goes on and she's still talking about this journey for having a son and how badly she wants to give Gerald a son. Guys, can we talk? Please, can we just talk without, no judgment. I'm not trying to be judgmental. Please don't attack me. I just feel like, based on everything you're going through with Shia and all of this having, to go through these health issues, the fact that I feel like it's so much pressure on you to hurry up and have another baby. Honestly, I'm going to keep it real. I don't doubt that her and Gerald want another child, and I have no doubt that they will love that child with all their heart. But I feel like this is more about Gerald wanting a son. I feel about it's that, what's the word I'm looking for? Misogynistic. It's a misogynistic thing where his ego and his pride, he wants a son to carry on his legacy. So that's what I'm getting. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's just the vibe. So I said, can we talk? And that's what I wanted to talk about. Let me know if you agree, how you feel about that. Anyway, but we also found out that the IVF transfer with the girl Asha that we met earlier in the season, it didn't go through. So they decided to just hold off and wait to see what they're going to do next. But they did attempt it. They went through with the girl Asha. They did the one round, and it didn't take. So they put that on hold for right now. So we'll see what happens with that going forward. But next up, we go to Phaedra's house, and we see Phaedra. She's both of her sons are home. Dylan, we have Dylan, who is 11, and Aiden, who is the older one, 14. I believe Dylan was the one that she called Mr. President when he was a baby. And also Dylan's mentor is there. They put the mentor's name, but it's not important because I don't think we'll ever see him again. But anyway, so Dylan is working on some cargo pants that he's designing. And we find out that Phaedra is like, her businesses are booming. Like, her funeral home is booming. She be having a lot of services. People are dropping dead, and she's raking in the dough, okay? She also does the whole Reiki healing thing now with the crystals and the vagina type thing and all that. So she's doing that. That's what she announced on Married to Medicine. But at first, honestly, I didn't believe it. I thought it was just something that she was using as a storyline on Married to Medicine so she can somehow tie herself to medicine. But she's still going with it. So I guess this is legit. Okay? So she says her and Apollo have a good co-parenting relationship, which is good. And, you know, they just basically want the best for their sons. So Dylan, we find out he's the one that loves fashion, and at one point he had wanted a pair of pants and they didn't have his size. So she bought him a sewing machine so he could make them himself, and she said basically, and the rest was history. Now Aiden, she said he's more of the one that's more of a politician. You know, he's more of a, because she asked him, how you want to help your brother with the money, which was his business. And he was like, you know, I could be his manager, you know, and get a little percentage or whatever. So he was already talking business. She said he's a straight up politician. So she lets them know that she's having a black glove shopping affair. And she's inviting all the ladies, but also she's going to give Aiden a moment to shine to debut his cargo pants that he's working on. So he's excited about that. And here goes Mr. Aiden with his business mind. He was like, oh, this is perfect marketing. I was like, Phaedra know her kids, honey, okay? But you know what? I can say I'm satisfied that Phaedra's giving us something, because we've known Phaedra for a long time, and besides the things she went through with Apollo, we don't really know much about Phaedra. We don't know how many months pregnant she was when she first came on Real Housewives of Atlanta. We don't know really much about her personal life, because Phaedra pretty much slid through on the show by being in everybody else's business, so she didn't have to talk about hers. So I'm glad that she's giving us something. Even if it's just about her sons, it's not really much about her. I'm glad she's giving us something. I'll take it for now. So next up, we find out it's the day of Kelly's divorce hearing. So they got some serious music on. It turns a little serious now. So we see her getting ready to go to court or whatever. Sis looked real professional. She had on her little two-piece white pantsuit. I was like, yes, looking like Madam VP Kamala Harris off this one. I was like, yes, Kelly, she looked real professional. Unlike Drew, who had on some little girl-looking dress when she went to her divorce hearing. I'm like, Drew, maybe that's why yours turned out the way it did. But anyway, so she goes into the courthouse, and as you know, they cannot take cameras into the courtroom. So we see 4 hours later, she's coming out the courtroom. She doesn't look too happy. They make it home, so now she's back home with Lamont, who in a previous episode when she was planning on going to Grenada, I said that he was her brother because I thought that was because the girls was calling him Uncle Lamont. But I realized that's her publicist, and that's also who they showed her with, I believe, on the 2nd episode or one of those earlier episodes in the season when she was going to the Chicken and Waffles place and that she was trying to open in Sandy Springs, I believe. So yeah, like, is it Sandy Springs? Am I saying it wrong? Maybe it's somewhere else. But yeah, so I remember she was trying to open up the new spot, and she was there with the publicist, and that was Lamont. So I'm like, oh, why did I think it was her brother? But anyway, correction, Lamont is her publicist and not her brother. Anyway, so we find out that no progress was made on the divorce. She's still married. She's not divorced. And basically, like, she's over it. So now Shamia stops by. So Lamont lets Shamia in, and Lamont excuses himself and tells Kelly he'll see her later. And now Shamia and her get to talking, and she informs Shamia and lets her know, girl, I'm still not divorced. And Shamia's like, no. And she was like, girl, and he just went to jail today. So Shamia's like, what? Again? Because mind you, we find out this is the second time he went to jail for not paying child support. So basically they put him in jail for not paying child support, but we find out he was locked up previously for the same thing. And the only reason why he got out is because he paid the child support to get out and then went back to not paying it. So this man is a mess, honey, okay? What's his name again? The same as Kenya's husband's name? I forget. Mark, you a mess, honey, okay? So now Angela calls and she wants to date her. She calling to check in, like, you know, I had your court date, so I'm just calling to check in. And Angela fills her in on everything was happening. And Angela's like, wow, like. So, you know, Shamia also was like, you know, that's cool that Angela called to check up on you. I respect that. I like that or whatever. So Shamia asked her about Britt, like, what's up with Britt? Have you heard from Britt? So Angela lets her know, like, no, I haven't spoken to Britt since Grenada. So Shamia's like, huh? What? Like, you're going, like, today is your divorce date and, like, you're supposed to be best friend, didn't even call you to see how your day went or just to check in? So Angela says they haven't spoken. Like she said, she feels away. She feels like she rode for Britt and Britt didn't ride for her. And they show flashbacks of all the times Kelly showed up for Britt, like with the whole situation with Kenya when Kelly showed up and brought her the IV specialist and the salads and all that. Then when Kenya did the thing at the event, I remember Kelly was the main one, like, she need to pipe down. And she left and got the hell up out of Dodge. She had the peace brunch for you, like, she showed up and showed out for you for everything. So she feels slighted by Britt. She feels like Britt wasn't there for her. Like, how you not gonna call me when you know what I'm going through today? So she's a little emotional. Shamia hugs her and tells her she's gonna be okay. And that was the end of that scene. Next, we have a little mashup, which is like a little collage of scenes. We see Cynthia, she's getting her invite for the Black Glove shopping affair. We also see Angela getting hers, and Britt also getting hers. And Phaedra is letting us know that her friend had owned the showroom, and she went into business with her friend, so now they're working together on the showroom. So she want to invite the girls into her world for the showroom. I believe this was actually the showroom when she premiered in her first season of Married to Medicine, when she had on that Mugler suit outfit. Yeah, so this is the same showroom, I believe, because she had the Married to Medicine girls come to her showroom when she first came on the show. So for the next scene, we go over to Williams Sonoma, and we see Angela and Charles arriving at Williams and Sonoma, and Drew and Phaedra are already there, so they greet them, and we find out that it's about to be an event for Kelly, because she has events for her Cooking with Kelly thing she got going on. So Kelly does arrive, and that's when I realized Kelly really is a tiny girl, because all the women were sitting down, and when she came to greet them, she literally was just a little bit taller than them sitting down. Like, basically, they were sitting down, and Kelly was like right here. I was like, damn, this girl is so small. They sitting down, and she basically a little bit taller than them when they sitting down. So I was like, damn, she is small. So anyway, we find out that her and Charles are going to have a cook-off. They had said they were going to have a cook-off from I believe, Cynthia's Bailey Q. So it's on and popping. She's having her event. And she says that she actually personally invited these three ladies, who are Angela, Drew, and Phaedra, because since Grenada, she feel like she wants to get them to know them on a deeper level and to know more about her on a deeper level. So that's why she invited these specific three ladies, and also to have the cook-off with Charles. So Charles is ready. He like, honey, when you ready, you ain't got to get ready. I stay ready. And Kelly is like, Charles, I'm about to smoke you guys. So they getting ready for their cook-off. And Charles is like, a lot of people own restaurants but still can't cook. I was like, that's true. That's true. A lot of people do got restaurants but still can't cook. So now Charles is going to warm up for the competition and, you know, familiarize herself with the kitchen area, the cooking materials, cooking utensils or whatever. And while he's doing that, Kelly's going to go chat with the ladies or whatever. So they're chatting and they're asking her, Angela asked her, like, what's up with Britt? Like, I guess she want to know why Britt isn't there. So Kelly tells them that she hasn't spoken to Britt since Grenada. And they're gagging like, huh? And Phaedra was like, I thought that was your best friend, girl. And even Drew in her confessional was like, all right, what is going on? There's definitely something going on, honey. So, yeah. But meanwhile, while this is going on, we go over to a separate scene at the Edie residence, and Britt has finally invited some of the ladies besides Kelly over her house, honey. So we see Cynthia arriving. Britt comes to the door to greet her. And then Portia arrives next. Portia arrives in this sexy two-piece suit or whatever, body yaddy. I'm like, girl, I hope Mike ain't there, honey. You better hide your man, put Mike up, honey, because Portia, she pulled this same thing a few seasons ago when she showed up at Fallon House, honey, okay? Yeah, so baby, be careful, Brett. So now, she has some, so they go down to her little area in her house. Her house is kind of weird because you have to go downstairs and then they always close the door behind them. I'm like, all right. But hey, it looks better than my house, so who am I to talk? But yeah, so she has some dark for Portia. She poured Portia some Douce, because you know Portia loves her dark. She's a Hennessy girl like myself, okay? So then she's telling them about the whole Kelly situation and how Kelly told her glam squad not to work with her, and she feel like it's because of jealousy. And they show Kelly in her confessional, and she's saying, like, you wanted my glam squad, my makeup artist, my hairstylist, this, that. She was just naming all the people. And she was like, girl, this is weird. Like, so I'm like, Kelly, why did you offer all that to her, though? I get that you was trying to look out for her, but that should have been a one-time deal, one and done, and you should have made it clear. You can use my glam team for this event and this event only. So you extended that, and she, you know, you gave her inch, honey, and she took him out. So now, this Britt is wondering now, because she's saying how Kelly wanted to keep the stylist from working with her, but now the stylist is supposedly working with Shamia and going shopping with Shamia and stuff like that. So she like, what's the tea with that? So they like, So now, Britt is trying to throw Shamia under the bus by telling Portia, she was like, because even when she said things to me or whatever, I never came back to you and told her. So Portia's like, what you mean? Like, is more stuff? Because we just, had our conversation and cleared the air. So what you saying, is more stuff now? So Britt is like, girl, she showed me text messages, talk about some text message. Shamia showed her that Portia said something about a wedding, or at this point, I'm glad Portia didn't bite and fall for the bait, because Portia was definitely like, because at first Portia was getting a little hyped up and she was biting a little bit, but then Portia was like, you know what, do what's best for you. And here goes Cynthia like, oh no, didn't I just cover it up? Cynthia like, please no, like, and Portia told her, do what's best for you. She shut that down, because Britt was definitely trying to start some mess there, and Portia didn't bite. Good for you. Being a big girl. Thank you. Now, back at Williams-Sonoma now, they're having a waffle competition. The waffle competition is on, baby. They're using Kelly's waffle base mix, but they're going to do their own versions of Bananas Foster's, and that's what they're being judged on, is the Bananas Foster. So they do the competition. They like both of theirs, so it's pretty much a tie. It turns out to be a tie. So as they're eating and chilling, some man decides to approach Angela while she's sitting there, and he's like, yes, hi. He introduces himself, and he was like, but actually he doesn't even introduce himself. He's like, I need to talk to you, Angela. So Angela's like, do I know you? So that's when he introduced himself, and Angela like, guess what you need to talk to me about? And he was like, when you get a chance, I want to talk to you about your husband and some things you might not know, because he's been to my restaurant. So Drew and Phaedra both looking like, what? Like, so Angela's like, all right, okay. And Angela pretty much blows it off. So she leaves, and Drew was like, what was that all about? Angela was like, baby, it went over my head. So Drew was like, do you know him? And Angela was like, I've never met him a day in my life. I don't know him from a hole in the wall, pretty much. And Phaedra's like, I think you need to keep it that way. So now, as they're going in, as they finish the competition, Angela's like, I'll be right back. I'm going to go have a toast with, I guess, some of the fans that came to see them. So she's toasting, and the guy goes to give the toast. The guy in real life, his name is Marcus. He goes to give the toast, and he goes, a toast to people, Angela, something about Angela, whose husband came in my restaurant with another woman, and you don't know. So everybody was like, oh, so Angela was like, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. So Angela went and told her bodyguard, he needed to go. Kenny, he needed to go. So Kenny definitely escorted him out. And Angela was like, I'm not with that. So for some reason, Charles didn't hear it, thank God. Because Phaedra was looking like, girl, maybe that chicken is frying a little too hard. Because Charles didn't hear that, honey. And Angela is like, so she's so glad that he's oblivious to the whole thing because she ain't wanted to get turned, ugly or whatever. So Kelly basically comes and let her know, like, I'm not with that. I had to shut that down because I don't do this for stat. And Angela was like appreciative of that. So now back at Britt's house, we see Britt's dog Mimosa is humping on her, humping on the pillows and stuff. I'm like, girl, what's going on? Like one of my dogs be doing. So now we see Phaedra's leaving the event, and as soon as she gets to her car, honey, and not a minute after, as soon as she got her car, she couldn't wait to call Portia to give her the tea. So we see Portia. Portia's at Britt's house with Cynthia. So she calls them to give them a tea, like, girl, I was at this event for cooking with Kelly, honey. And some man approached Angela and said he came with a word for Angela, saying how her husband was cheating on her and all that. So they gagging like, what? So Phaedra like, wait a minute, who said it? So she's like, I don't know the man or whatever. So they is gagging, honey. So I was like, damn, Phaedra, you couldn't wait to spill that tea. But hey, this is Housewives, so that is some tea to spill. So now finally we are at the day of the Black Glove shopping affair. And Phaedra's getting herself together, but as she is, Portia FaceTimes her to let her know that she can't make it because her cousin Londi just passed away. Now, the cousin Londi, who was in a few episodes, 2 episodes, I believe, the one when they had the meeting in the offices of Go Naked Hair, and then when they had the Pimp About Portia event. So I'm glad they finally acknowledged her on the show because it just happened, I guess, during recordings. It had to, yeah, because she was in the episode. So Portia is like, I can't make it because my cousin, and Phaedra's like, girl, I understand. Do what you got to do. Take care of yourself. So I want to say rest in peace to Londi. I probably said it already, but yes. So this is the episode where Portia found that out. So she won't be making it. So now 2 hours later, the event is basically starting. Kelly is the first of the ladies to arrive to the event. And Phaedra greets her like, it's giving little Kim titty. And Kelly was like, yeah, I got my titties out for you. Kelly, I ain't like your hair. I ain't like this look on you. We could tell your stylist definitely left you. So Cynthia arrived second. And Cynthia looked good. She did. Her outfit looked good, minus the wig. You know what it is with Cynthia? She wears her wigs the old school way, how we used to do it. The lace front wig, what she does is she cuts the entire lace off. So she don't leave that little bit of lace to glue to her forehead so that it looks more realistic. She just basically cuts the whole lace off, so you just see that part. It just looks so wiggy, like. Like, she had one good wig this season, though, and the braids looked good on her, too, when they was in Grenada. But yeah, honey, this wig... The color of the wig and everything and the style of the wig wasn't bad. It was just definitely giving mixed human and synthetic. So Shamea is the third to arrive, and she definitely arrived. One thing I could say about Shamea is I do like her energy. Shamea does sometimes. She seems like she is a vibe because she came in dancing like she comes in turned up. I like the way she comes. I like the energy she brings into an event. I noticed that about she does that a lot. So that's somebody that I could vibe with. That's the vibe. That's the vibe I like, okay? So now Angela arrives after Shamea, right after Shamea. I don't know what this wig was giving Angela. It was giving like an old wig where the front two was balls in, so you just threw it on. You didn't put a part in it or nothing. You just slick. I guess it was the look she was going through. It was giving a wet, slick back look, but I didn't care much for it. Anyway, so now they start to talking about the incident that happened at the Waffle at Williams-Sonoma with the guy approaching her. But before they could get into it, Britt arrives. Britt looked good. I ain't gonna hold you. She looked good. The bob was bobbing, except with that leave out. When she parts her hair, she never parts it right. She always leaves that little bit of slant there where I'm just like, Britt, please just get a little rat tail comb and just separate that to that side. But yeah, she looks good. So she's speaking to everybody, so she goes to say hello to Kelly, and Kelly is paying her dust. So she says to them like, hey Kelly, and Kelly is definitely giving like, why is this girl speaking to me? I was like, oh, all right, Kelly, you can't be mad, she ain't being fake, all right? So Aiden and Dylan finally arrived. They arrived. Phaedra's sons or whatever. So then Angela continues to tell them about the guy, and she says that actually Kelly brought it up. She was like, you know, it was an open invitation, so it was open to the public, and you know, fans or whoever could just RSVP, because I'm not with all that. So Angela was like, oh no, I did my own research and I found out who it was, and some people I know that don't play about me and Charles pay him a visit. So they're like, oh, wow. So in the confession, we're like, wait a minute, are you a part of the mafia? She was like, no, honey, we just got people who love us. So basically, she claims people ran down on him, and he supposedly it was set up, and somebody paid him, and he gave a description of the guy who approached him. So I'm like, all right, this is starting to get a little juicy, okay? So now, we see Drew arrives, but as she arriving is right when Phaedra was about to start the show, and Phaedra told the ladies to be on time. It was going to be a closed door event. So Phaedra done closed the door. Drew arrived right after she closed the door, so she couldn't get in. And Drew was like, well, damn, I called her and told her I was in traffic. I even sent her a picture of the traffic I was in. And Phaedra didn't care. So basically, Kelly alluded to somebody who wasn't there possibly paying or whatever, because they wanted to know who paid, who did he pay, and Kelly was like, it was somebody who wasn't there. So Britt is like, so they like, what you mean by that? So Britt is saying how her, Portia, and Cynthia was at her house or whatever. So Phaedra was like, wait a minute, Cynthia, Kelly was like, wait a minute, Cynthia, you was at her house? And she invited Portia too? Why? So Britt is like, you don't got to be passive aggressive with me. If you don't want to address me, you can. And Kelly was like, I can, or whatever. So now they start to go back and forth, and I'm like, what's going on now? So then Kelly said something about, she said, Britt accused her of being passive-aggressive, and that's when Kelly was like, no, honey, I'm aggressive. And Britt was like, oh, what? I never seen you being aggressive. What, you the big bad wolf now? And Kelly was like, I'm the ferocious wolf. So, because Kelly was like, Britt, don't play with me, Britt. And Britt is still antagonizing her. So they going back and forth, and next thing you know, Kelly walks off, because when she said she's the ferocious bear, Britt was like, it's all an act, it's all a facade, you're very insecure. So Kelly was like, I'm insecure? And you want my whole glam squad? So Britt is like, oh, the glam squad you begged me to use because you need a sidekick? So as she's singing that, Kelly's walking off, and Britt is like dismissing her, like, so Britt is like singing how Kelly was jealous and hating on her because in Nashville, she felt like it was uneven and they was giving more attention to Britt, and I guess she felt like Britt was looking better than her. And they show flashbacks, and I'm not gonna lie, Britt outfits and looks was given, and Kelly's not so much. So I don't know if the glam squad sabotaged Kelly, but girl, how you gonna loan somebody your glam squad and they make her look better than you? So now, as she's talking, Kelly's coming back like, girl, you wanted my whole glam squad, child. You tried to get my whole glam squad. So they going back and forth, and then Kelly tells Phaedra, you better get your roommate. And Phaedra's trying to calm her down. And that's when Kelly was like, you better get your pill popping roommate. So you see Phaedra's face like, girl, what? So everybody's gagging like, wait, what? Pill popping? And even Phaedra was like, it's like Wimbledon. And then she was like, and point, checkmate or whatever. And honey, she said, Cynthia was like, not popping pills. What kind of pills? So then you see Phaedra, she was like, honey, the only pill she offered me was the Advil PF. I ain't get the Michael Jackson cocktail special. I was like, no, Phaedra. So yes, that gagged everybody. So at this point, Kelly's friend is trying to take her away. Phaedra's trying to calm her down because she don't want what is going on at her event, but she's also like catching this tea, honey. So now, as Kelly's friend is trying to pull her away, Britt is like, yes, the stylist said you look a mess. Or do you want to talk about those abortions you had when you was married? So everybody's gagging now like, wait, what? So Kelly is like, what? Bitch, what? Like, you can't even have babies, bitch. Like, you can never be me. And Britt was like, nobody want to be you little hobbit. That was a good one, Britt. I ain't gonna lie with you. That was a good one. But what it came behind, I just couldn't really enjoy it and laugh at it as much because what you said, I was still gagging and reeling off what you said before that. Like, my mouth was like, did she just say that? Like, I don't know. I think when you're don't get me wrong, there's no rules to arguing, but that's just such a touchy subject. And also, if y'all was friends, I feel like no matter what kind of fallout I have out with my friend, that's just something I wouldn't expose. You understand? Like, it's just, yeah, Britt definitely went to hell with that one, okay? So now, Phaedra's trying to calm Kelly down. Phaedra's trying to talk to her. She's telling Kelly, like, calm down. You know, I need you to speak and get inside voice. And Kelly, like, ain't no inside voice. She's turned up all the way now. And Britt is basically giving, like, she don't feel no remorse. And Shamia is telling Britt, like, you know, remember how you felt when Kenya did that to you? You know, you got to think about it. And Britt is giving no fucks at all. 0 fucks given. She was, like, basically once you take it there with her, she empties the clip. She basically, you go low, she goes to hell, pretty much. So now, we see that, so Kelly is basically claiming, she claims that she got her, first of all, she said it's my body and my choice, but she claims that she got her tubes tied after the twins, so she don't know what Britt is talking about. I don't know, honey. I'm not going to comment on this conversation. I'm not going to comment on this subject because it's a personal subject that's none of my business and none of Britt's business. And if Kelly, you did tell her that, then that was wrong for her to, you know, I don't know if this is something Britt is just throwing out, but if you did tell her that, Kelly, Britt, you're still wrong for sharing that, even if it is true. And if it's not true, you're even worse of a person. Anyway, just when I was starting to like you, Britt, you going to pull this stunt. Anyway, so Drew is still outside as the runway show is beginning. So she's outside getting chicken from the cop and whatnot. I'm like, Drew. So yeah, so as the show is starting, you hear Drew knocking on the door. I'm like, girl, you see them as they talking, you see people looking like, and you just hear the knock, knock, knock. Drew, you've been late all season, girl. I'm not gonna lie. For every season event, you've been like the last one to show up. I mean, it's maybe been 1 or 2 events that you wasn't late for, but other than that, you're always late, girl. Even Portia clocked it. Portia was like, I know I'm late, honey, but Drew be even later. Okay? So now, they have the runway show, and then they finally let Drew in, and we find out, guess who's with Drew coming in, honey? Miss Letitia Sweet Tea Lunsford, honey, from Married to Medicine. I was like, yes, Letitia looking good. Go ahead, Sweet Tea. All right. So they came in and sat down, and then we see Dylan came out to premiere his cargo pants. And Aiden, being a businessman, he was in, was straight to business. Pre-orders are on sale right now at such.com. So I was like, go ahead, Phaedra. You teaching your boys the road to success, honey, okay? So now, so the ladies gonna start in the shop after the runway show. So the ladies are shopping. It's faux fur, real furs, all types of stuff there, colorful stuff. So Shamia wants to sit down and talk with Britt because she wants to know how come Britt didn't like give Kelly a call for her divorce, even though she knows what's going on. And Britt tells her, you know, Kelly was talking about me, telling the glam team not to work with me. And she said how Phaedra even said she heard it, but I thought Phaedra heard it from you. That's what she told Phaedra. That's what she told Portia and Cynthia and Grenada, that she heard it from you. You making it seem like she heard it from somewhere else, like she heard it from Kelly. So she basically, like, Kelly was talking about how behind her back and why she gonna call somebody to support them when they hating on her. So yeah, that was the reason she gave. So pretty much, Phaedra wants to sit the ladies down to talk to them about why Portia wasn't there, because they asked her earlier and she was like, we're going to talk about that later. So now she lets them know Portia didn't make it because her cousin Londi passed away, and all of the ladies are like, oh my gosh, they're like, you know, emotional. And you know, that's how the episode ends. They do a little in loving memory for Londi, and I was like, yeah, it's funny. She was young, 1989 to 2024. That means she was 35 or going on 35 when she passed. And it's so sad, you know. But rest in peace, Lonzy. And that was the end of this episode. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode. This was a really good episode. It was good. On a scale from 1 to 5, I'm going to give it a 4. It was a good episode. One of the best episodes this season. And I also saw Watch What Happens Live. Now, on Watch What Happens Live, Portia was on there. No, it's not Portia. Cynthia was on there with Angela. And they was asking at the reunion, Andy asked them who they feel had the most to answer for at the reunion, and they both agreed it was Portia. And they said that they think Kelly, and he asked them who did they think annoyed him the most. They said Kelly and Shamea probably. Andy claims he doesn't get annoyed. Andy, honey, them Jersey girls and the Miami girls be driving you crazy, honey. Okay? He said, who do you think was the most surprised by their seat placement? And they both agreed it was Drew. And I was even surprised by that. Like, why is Drew all the way on the end? And Drew had brought the most this season. That was crazy. Drew should have had first chair. It should have been Drew and Portia. Anyway, he asked them who threw the most shade at the reunion. And they said Drew came with the most props, but Angela came with the receipts. But Drew came with like a suitcase full of props. And she had some stunts, honey. So the questions to Cynthia, they asked her, like, whose side she took on Britt versus Kelly. She didn't take a side, but she did say Britt went the lowest. And Angela agreed. She said Britt knows no boundaries. He asked her who she thought was the better businesswoman between Kelly and Britt. Cynthia also said Kelly was the better businesswoman. So now somebody in the audience asked Angela what she thought about Phaedra's comment about her being the oldest looking young woman she's ever saw. And Angela was like, Phaedra must have been walked past a mirror or something, honey, because she must have forgot her first season, honey. She looked kind of old, okay? She looked pretty old. Yes, eat, honey. And guess what? Andy didn't like that. He made a face. He was looking like he did not like that. He did not want to laugh at that one, honey. And by the way, Charles was up there with Angela. He was behind the bar, and he was being more supportive of her. He was trying to, I guess, redeem himself. But anyway, he did his top 5 on why he, like, loves Angela. And he gave 5 good reasons, pretty much. She's sexy. She's smart. She's, a good fighter. She know how to hold her own. And she's a good mom. Pretty much. So he pretty much was like letting it know, like, don't worry about me and my wife. We good. Okay? So also on the after show, they also asked Cynthia, they asked Cynthia about her man. And she basically said they're official now. They're an official couple now. So she will be bringing him around if she comes back. Now on the after show, they were talking about the whole situation with the boy Marcus approaching Angela. And Angela said that Charles feels that it was set up because when they left, she told him about it. And he was like, oh, that was a setup, honey. They talked about the whole Kelly versus Britt. Phaedra feels Kelly came in hot, but so did Britt. Kelly says Britt never wanted Portia to come to her house. So that's why they was gagging. Kelly was like, Britt never wanted Portia to come to her house. She used to always be like, I'll never bring her around my husband. And Shamea was like, yeah, because I used to have to jump in and stop her sometimes when she would say to me, like, why you her friend? Like, how you could trust her? So I was like, So basically, Britt didn't trust Phaedra. So that's why Mike wasn't in that scene. She made sure Mike wasn't there that day when Phaedra pulled up, honey, okay? She said, honey, go away for the day, okay? Because I don't want to have to drag this bitch, okay? So, Kelly says she has had no rap for Britt, like, that day. So when Britt came and spoke to her at Phaedra's event, she had no rap for her. Like, you didn't reach out to me as much as I was there for you and held you down and reached out for you. So Kelly pretty much said that being that Britt didn't reach out to her, she didn't have no rap for her. So that's why she didn't have nothing for Britt that day. She was like, girl, I was there for you. You wasn't there for me. You ain't give me a call, a text, or nothing for my divorce. And she was like, you know, I feel like I showed up for her in a way she didn't show up for me. I showed up to defend her in rooms when nobody else was, which is true. Phaedra says Britt, like, definitely was in the devil's basement with that line when she said the thing about the abortion. She went low. She was in the devil's basement, and Britt seemed proud of it, honey. Proud of it. She said she emptied the clip, honey, so she has no regrets. Cynthia feels that it was horrible, and she just said she can't be around somebody like that because some things you should take to the grave. And she said that she knows things about certain people who have aired her out, but she never aired out that, and that's something she would take to her grave. And Angela and Drew agree. Kelly talks about her divorce. The divorce is finally finalized, so she can go on and get away from that devil, honey. Phaedra talks about locking the doors on Drew, and they asked her why she didn't let Drew in, and she basically was like, Drew don't buy anything anyway. Oh, she basically says Ralph pays all the bills, he's brilliant, and he's holding it down. And I was like, Phaedra, you know a little bit too much. And she said he had cutie. I was like, let me find out you want to fuck this man, Phaedra. But yeah, Phaedra, I'm going to keep it real with you. I really don't like your return this season. I just don't like this mean girl. I don't like the fact that you left Married to Medicine because you claimed they were mean girls. And then you come over to Real Housewives of Atlanta and you're being a mean girl. When the truth of the matter is, you think that the Married to Medicine women were mean girls because you couldn't handle them. Them bitches was tearing you up, honey. They were smart, educated, and they had a queen just like you. So you was no match for them. So you coming back over here to play with these Atlanta girls. Anyway, Shamia talked about her IVF process, and she went more into details about the process and, you know, how right now it's on hold. But I think she said they met somebody now, so they're trying to see how that's going. I already let y'all know how I felt about that. We had our talk. Let me know what y'all feel. Once again, what do you give this episode on a scale from 1 to 5? Are you on Team Kelly or Team Britt? Let me know. And what do you think about this whole situation with Angela and the boy Marcus? Because now online, it's just a whole lot where basically Angela is claiming Phaedra was behind it and she's the one who paid the guy. And the guy said it was, but now he's online saying Angela is a liar and that Angela set it up and Drew had something to do with it. So, honey, it's a whole hot mess we're going to have to get into. But in the meantime, I hope you guys enjoy your weekend. Look out for my Real Housewives of Atlanta. My Real Housewives of Miami recap tomorrow. And then I'll be back with the finale of Real Housewives of Atlanta recap on Tuesday. In the meantime, actually, I don't think I will be able to do it Tuesday because I have a busy day Tuesday, so I'll probably be done Wednesday. But anyway, guys, take care. Enjoy your weekend. Happy Pride, everybody.